Hello, I'm Claire Green, and welcome to Insured Insights, a series of conversations where we invite industry experts to come and talk to us about some of the challenges we're facing both in our business and the industry. Today, I'm delighted to invite Graeme, the CEO of BIBA, to join us for today's set of conversations. Thank you so much for joining us, Graeme.
Pleasure to be here.
Fabulous. Right, should we take another one? I'll let your turn now. Yeah. Ooh. So what benefits are brokers seeing from the adoption of AI?
A lot more than you think. We've done a bit of work on this, talking to AI providers and members, and it's quite interesting. If you look at like the life cycle of the customer through new business through to claim and where AI can come in. So their first touch might be with some sort of a chatbot making an inquiry on a broker's website, but then say it's a mid or high net worth client, it might be the case that the broker suggests that the client just uses their phone and has a look at the property, has a look at the garden, looks at the condition of the building, what risks there are, what hazards there are, what are the values of things, what's the security like, and then the AI can use all of that, feed it back to you, help with part of the rating. So that's really interesting. All the way through to the claim, again, get that phone out with the AI program. What needs reinstating? What's been damaged? What's the lead time to get another one of whatever those things might be? What's the cost? Might you need to go into alternative accommodation because this work is quite extensive? So we're already seeing that used at the point of claim, which is really quite fascinating to see. But then there's other areas like fraud. So it can help identify fraud, which I think is really helpful for insurers and brokers. Is there something clearly not right here that the AI has some knowledge of and experience of and can identify? So many areas. It can even help brokers with regulatory compliance as well. So and there's a lot of that to do. So from our perspective, the opportunities around AI are really growing. What I would say though is that it needs some sort of regulatory framework. And it's not very often that you'll hear me, the CEO of BIBA, talking about wanting more regulation, so forgive me, members. But at the end of the day, we know not all AI is 100% accurate all of the time. We've certainly, there's been some examples of AI going a little bit wrong sometimes, shall we say, and insulting a few people. So I think there's a case. We've seen the European Commission come out with their proposals on AI. We've seen IOPA, and now we're waiting for the FCA to come out with their proposals, their consultation, which we believe will come out this year. So that there's a framework that AI can work within, so that it's a tool that is helping brokers at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think having that framework is so important as well as a guide, because again, AI does feel like a really big subject to get your head around. But as you said, when you can translate it and understand how it can reduce failure demand for customers, enable the broker to spend more time on the right things, equally making them more efficient and more relevant as well. It gives them the opportunity, I think, to not compete with the aggregator space, but to move with the digitalization expectation of customers as well, being on the front foot of feeling relevant and sustainable long term. But yeah, I think having that framework you suggested very much can be welcomed by a lot of brokers, I think. Okay, I think it's my turn to press the buzzer now. What a question, following on from the last one. Will generative AI ever replace insurance brokers?
No. Insurance brokers are there. They're relatable to clients. AI is a tool like a software house. Now, there's some great avatars that you get on AI where literally I've seen like a version 3 where you would think, it would be you, they would clone you, that it would sound like you, but it wouldn't have your brain, Claire. So at the end of the day, it can be very helpful. And brokers, I'm sure, will be using these avatars on their website. So that's great. And AI is useful for other things as well. So for example, we had a case the other day, client dropped their mobile phone in a toilet. They got their policy wording, they plugged it into their AI and they said, this must policy wording cover my claim for my damaged phone. And it gave a view. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the broker is the one that has to validate that, to check that, to liaise with the insurer, to package that claim together. And there's such a key role for the broker in liaising with the clients there. So it is a tool like a software house, like so many other things. But at the end of the day, you will need a broker, particularly with things like vulnerable customers. They need to speak to a relatable human being who can give them that support, that guidance. So at the end of the day, yes, we can use it for all the good reasons that we've said, but it's not ever going to replace the broker.
I completely agree with you, and I think we covered it a little bit earlier, but I think that AI will be a massive benefit for brokers in regards to staying relevant, but also helping them continue with their existence in regards to all they will do is underline that point. As you said, take out the weight of some of the non-value add points of principle, and also where customers expect some information any time of the day, real time, but actually allow them to be there as a customer expects them to. At the end of the day, people buy from people. Yeah. And I think the broker market is their absolute lifeblood. That is their reason for existing. Customers want to put their trust in advice, in whatever nature that is going to be. And I think, as you're absolutely right, AI can do lots and lots of things, but they can't yet replicate a human quite to that extent.
It's a great tool, and it should really further the cause of the insurance industry in serving clients. But at the end of the day, we need brokers there to make sure that their client is looked after.
I also think AI can help them on a proactive basis as well. So before an event, such as storm, for example, and it will enable brokers to be able to speak to a lot of their customers all at once on a proactive basis and help them protect their properties as well. So I don't think it's all just a benefit of reacting and stopping the incoming volume, but it can also help the broker put their brand, their badge, even their tone of voice into an external communication to customers and reach so many more than they would on a normal daily basis.
Oh, it can send out flood alerts, storm alerts, all sorts of things. So there's so much opportunity for the industry to utilise that. So keen to see what happens next.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I think we're a very, very long way before having to worry about AI disrupting broker. I just think it will enhance it. We've got time just for one more question. So it feels only right that I let you have the last push of the buzzer. Oh, this is a long one. We all know brokers are innovative and great at responding to emerging risks. How do you think this prevalence will be applied to extreme weather events? Quite topical.
It's an interesting one. What brokers want from insurers is innovation as well. And when I say innovation, I mean innovation to cover new risks and increasing risks, not to exclude those risks. And I think this winds back to a few years ago when we had that government's Doncaster review of the floods. And Amanda Blanc was involved in that, in doing her independent review for government. And what that led to was the issue of just sort of discovering that many home insurance policies excluded flood. And the answer that government and Amanda and BIBA agreed was to have a new flood insurance directory and a signposting service. So BIBA worked with Flood Re, with the ABI, and with DEFRA, and we introduced this signposting service. We identified expert brokers who were able to cover properties at risk of flood, whether that be with Flood Re or their own scheme that they may have with an insurer. And that was particularly useful. It's very helpful to clients. It's helped many thousands of people since we introduced it a couple of years ago. So it's that innovation to find those paths forward, which is so important for us.
Yeah, and do you think that brokers are really starting to understand the concepts of Build Back Better within Flood Re and etc.? Do you feel that they're now starting to grasp that? And
yes,
when they're talking to their customers about
we love Build Back Better. It was something we had in our manifesto several years ago, because we really believe in resilient repair, and we sit on the DEFRA working group, the round table there on resilience. And so we had some really healthy conversations with Flood Re and the wider industry, and we all agreed that this is a really good thing. And I'm so pleased that Flood Re are doing that now. More insurers are signing up, and it helps us make a more flood resilient society.
And I think that makes life really difficult for the broker, because it's then their job to explain that to those customers as well, to explain exactly why they might be struggling to place that business, or why there might be endorsements and conditions. And I think that just goes back again to the important role that the broker plays as well, not just at the point of claim in regards to weather, but the complexities that come now with placing home insurance and the changing environment that is weather. I mean, I don't remember the last time. I remember 9 storms in one season. Exactly. And again, that's for the broker then to try and explain that, whether that be on an online journey, a digital journey, or face-to-face.
That's right. There's all sorts of issues, whether it's, we had an MP contact us today about basements in Westminster being flooded, couldn't get cover. There's a different issue on flood on a regular basis, particularly surface water, where We're more built up than we used to be. Surface water claims are far in excess of what they used to be. So a lot of work to do between government, the insurers, and the brokers at the end of the day. And I think when we look at the wider picture of flooding, and we look at things like climate change, and that leads us on to things like modern methods of construction. So, properties are often built in steel. That's strong. Insurers like that. That's not a fire risk. But actually, should we be thinking about building them with mass timber? So there's some work in our manifesto on modern methods of construction. So if you can build with materials that require far less carbon to produce them, then that supports the government's move to net zero for 2050. So the whole climate change issue is an important one for us to discuss together. But I think we can find a way. And at the moment, anybody that is struggling to place a property to get flood cover, our message is if you can't insure it, signpost it and come to our flood insurance directory, and we'll find a broker that can help.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Graeme. It's been really good chatting through these subjects with you. So that's all we've got time for today. So that ends today's conversation on Insured Insights, and look forward to seeing you again soon at a future edition.